Nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. This is a channel I use to share with all of you about what I'm reading in case I come across something that might interest you. I read in a ton of different genres, so chances are I'm going to stumble across something here and there that would be right up your alley. Today is Friday, and on Fridays I love to share with you my weekly reading wrap-up, which is everything that I read, what I'm still working on, and what I think about it, and what I plan to read next. Jumping straight into what I read, let's talk about Zoro Harrison. I'm slowly working my way through her works with a huge thanks to my friend Evie from the channel. She was only Evie. Evie gifted me a ton of Zoro Harrison, and she and I are slowly making our way through reading all of it. Jonah's Gordivine is another short novel that she wrote. I did enjoy this story. I did. I really got aggravated at the characters, which was supposed to be. The two main characters just kept repeating their same actions over and over, and I know that is the nature of people. I do, but I really wanted more from them. I wanted them to do better. The story was great. It still had that wonderful feel to it that all of Zoro Harrison's writing has, just that beautiful imagery. A common occurrence I have seen tying all of Zoro's work together is we usually visit Eatonville, or one of our Eatonville characters finds their way into the story that we're reading. We did get to visit Eatonville in this one, which I really enjoyed. But if you've read this book, I would love to chat with you about it and see if we have some of the same opinions about our characters. The other book that I completed is The Grey Bastards by Jonathan French. And guys, this book really shocked me with how much I ended up loving it. When I started it, it was very easy to get into the flow. It seemed a very simple, straightforward story. The author's writing style is just very free-flowing, easy to get into and follow along with, and made it a very fast read. What I later realized, right alongside the main character, we were getting hoodwinked the whole time. There was so much plotting going on. There were so many schemes and just webs of deceit just happening all around the entire time. And when those little spiders started pulling that web together at the end, wow. And when I tell you guys that it took off, when things went south really, really, really fast. I absolutely love this book. I am very, very glad that I already have book 2 here and that it is on my August TBR. And the third book is coming out next month, September 19th, I believe it is. That quite possibly is the wrong date. It doesn't matter. It is coming out at some point in September. I've already pre-ordered it. I have it on the TBR. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in book 2. So that is what I finished. Let's get into what I'm still working on. I am reading the arc for Certain Dark Things by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I want to say when I was looking this up, just look at the cover, that this is a re-release. I am so confused by that when they do re-releases and then they do arcs. Why? If it's out in the world, why are we doing an arc for a re-release? What was the re-release for exactly? I'll look into that and see what I can find out, mention it to y'all in a later update. The update is this. This book is boring. It has some interesting elements to it that I like about vampires. It's very different, but it feels like this is book 2 in a series. I don't know if it is. I'll have to look it up. I don't think it's supposed to be, but it feels like book 2. There are things getting introduced, and the way they're getting introduced is you're being told something like you're supposed to already know who or what they are, like you found out in a previous installment. And so I am lost as a goose. It's slow moving, which the only other piece that I've read by this author is Mexican Gothic, which was another slow burn. So I'm not a fan so far, and as a result of it being unable to catch my attention, I'm only like 12% in, and I've been working on it for a few days now. But I'm going to keep plugging away because it is an arc on NetGalley, and whenever I get an arc on NetGalley, I do read those to completion so I can write a review for it. So we'll see how that goes. This week This week brought us the start of a new month. That means the start of my August TBR and buddy reads. The first buddy read that I want to mention is The Count of Monte Cristo. Chat for this buddy read is over on Kissy Reads Discord. I'll put a link to her announcement video down below in the description so you can check it out if you want to join us. So The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas is a book I have been interested in reading for a long time. The only other work I've read by him is The Three Musketeers, which I absolutely loved. I'm a huge fan of the movies of The Three Musketeers. Almost all of them that have been out I love. But this is a very slow 3-month-long read-along. With that being said, I am 50 pages in already because I did get the audiobook from Libby to go along with this, and that just turned out to be a wonderful plan. The narrator, I want to say his name is John Lee. He does an amazing job with the French names and places, and it just makes it so beautiful to listen to while I'm reading. I love immersion reading, but I really love when a narrator has the ability to add ambience to the story. Like just the way the French names just roll off his tongue. It's just absolutely beautiful. But I'm enjoying it. I'm far enough in that I can see how this revenge story became a revenge story. I'm very excited for it. I don't mind that it's slow moving and it's very long. I believe, if I remember correctly, someone commented on a previous video and said it was written one chapter at a time and released that way back when. So it's kind of like a soap opera. So it was really long because it was just getting published week to week and entertaining everyone that way. So I'm already off to a really great start with this one. And then another read-along that I jumped on board with is the Faulkner in August 2021 read-along, which is Sanctuary by William Faulkner. This book is very difficult to tell you about because I don't want to say that it's a good book. The subject matter is extremely difficult, and the way that Faulkner writes this story, what I think makes it a little bit more difficult for me to work through is the story takes place in and around Oxford, Mississippi. I am very, very familiar with Oxford. You guys know I was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi, lived there for 42 years before coming here to Florida. Two of my favorite cousins actually went to Oxford, ended up staying there, living there, putting down roots. Another cousin of mine ended up moving there as well. So I spent a lot of time there. All of the places that are being described are very familiar to me. I'm a visual reader, and so it's just, so I feel that I am breathing this story, and it's written very well. Faulkner has done an amazing job capturing the fear, the horror, just what is going on, and a little bit about it. It's a psychological thriller in which a young lady, a college girl from Oxford, is kidnapped, and there is a lot of bad stuff happening. It's brutal. It is written beautifully as it can be with this kind of plot. It's a very hard topic to digest, but he writes it so well. I mean, I almost flew through the whole thing in the first day. I want to put it down, but then I want to pick it back up to see what's going to happen in that next chapter. So I'll definitely have this one finished by the time I check in with y'all next week. And then to round out what I'm still reading, I'm still working on Billy Summers by Stephen King. I believe I've knocked out the first 9 chapters already, and I'm really enjoying it. When I got it and started reading it, it was the only book I was interested to keep reading. A lot of the reason for that, I love the way Stephen King writes his characters, like his secondary characters. So Billy Summers is an assassin. He's an assassin for hire, and he's on a job, and part of his cover is he's living in this little house in this neighborhood on this street, and you meet all of his neighbors and their children. And while they don't have a huge spotlight in the story because they aren't the main story, of course that is Billy and the job that he's on, just the part that they do play, they are just written so well. I can see that street. I can see Evergreen Street when I close my eyes. I can see all of these characters. I can smell the cookies that Mrs. Ackerman has cooked for Billy. I love the street. I love the houses on the street. I love the people who live in them. And because I do, and the nature of Billy's job, being an assassin, a sniper, I just have this fear for them. It's that same feeling I got for the town of Salem's Lot when I read that one. You got to know that town so well that when things started happening, you felt it. You felt that personal, you took it personal when anything happened to any of those townsfolk because you knew them so well. So I feel like King might be going to get me on that later. This job that Billy is on, his cover is, he's a writer. I love the literary references. And this is why I tell you guys, all you people watching right now that are watching because you love Stephen King, this is why I always say on my channel, I love to read in multiple genres and find out who the greats are that inspire our mainstream authors. Because if you read this book and you haven't read William Faulkner, you're gonna miss some really clever digs that Billy uses as his cover as an author. He names his character after a character that was created by William Faulkner. And he does that as a dig to his employers. You know, Stephen King does explain to you why he did what he did regarding that, but you just get so much more joy out of it if you personally know as well. I have just been really giggling to myself over some of the things that Billy, under his cover as a writer, has been pulling. But I am really enjoying this one. I'm flying through it. I hope to have this one finished in the next day or two as well. So that's everything I read and what I'm still working on. Now let's get into what I plan to read next. That's it. Just this one. The Dark Tower by Stephen King. It is a huge chunker. And while it is a huge book, these books have all read really, really fast, except for Wolves of the Kala drug a little bit for me. The other ones went like that. I just flew through them. So I feel that I'm going to just get obsessed with this one and be engrossed in it because this is the end of the journey. This is it, guys. This is where our quartet is going to make it to the tower. Will they go in the tower? Will Roland finally make it to the top and find out what is there or what is not there? I am very, very excited to find out. So this one is the only one I'm going to commit to starting after I finish with Billy Summers and Sanctuary. I'm just going to focus this one down and just get to the epic conclusion for this fantastic series. The Dark Tower, guys, if you haven't read this series and you are a fantasy lover, this one is just, it's a must. It is a must read. And guys, that will do it for this quick little weekly wrap up of everything I read, what I'm still reading, and what I plan to read next. What about all of you out there? Was there a new release that came out this week you were excited about? Did you guys get your hands on a copy of Billy Summers and furiously working your way through? Let me know in the comments down below. I know my friend Jake from The Bookish Drummer has already finished Billy Summers and gave it a 4.5. So that's telling me that this book is really going to finish strong. I'm excited for it. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. I hope your morning has gotten off to a wonderful start. I hope your day flies by. I hope your weekend is absolutely amazing. And I will see you in the next one.